we're just waiting for Ming. Ming runs the show, so I jump as he tells me to jump, and I speak when he tells me to speak. But thanks again, everybody, for your time. I really appreciate it. And don't feel like you have to be absolutely silent, like this has to be a church. We drown out a lot of the backroom noise, so feel free to talk to each other. If you're interested in listening to the stories that we talk about here, then feel free to listen to them. But don't feel like this is a church just because we're here. I need a lot of that. But honestly, before we start, I just want to thank you all for letting me here again. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, everybody. I know what it's like. You're probably like, oh, who the hell is this guy having a podcast? Now I got to be quiet. I'm here on a Tuesday. Like, just let me smoke my cigar, talk to my friends. What the hell's going on? So I really appreciate it. Thank you, everybody. It's absolutely my pleasure. What a great place this is. We can't start yet, Ming. Art's getting a phone call. Are we live? We should go live. Are we live?
Yes, speaking. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm tied up right now, but...
Can you hear him? Is he checking out? All right, so give it a little sound check, Art. The picture from your side profile, you look a little like Alfred Hitchcock. You ever been told that? I think you could pull it off. You ready to go?
Whenever you are.
All right, now can you hear me talking to you right now? You don't have to worry about that. You hear him good? Just give a little check.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you can hear him?
You okay? Good.
All right, Ming, we ready to go? All right, everybody. Well, first, let me thank everybody for coming out tonight. It's a packed house here at Embassy Cigar Lounge. Let's give it up. Let everybody know we're here in the house. Give a big round of applause. Nice job. All right. I like it. Probably have about, it's a Tuesday night. So for those of you who don't know, I used to live in Virginia. I coached basketball here at Hampton University for 4 years, so coming back down from Jersey was kind of nice being back in Virginia. Felt like it was a little homecoming for me. And I was just going to a place where, hey, we support your cigars. We would love to have an event with you. Why don't you come down here? So I come down and I pull up to this place, Embassy Cigar Lounge in Stafford County, Virginia, and it's awesome. It's enormous. We probably have, what, 30 or 40 people inside right now?
Yeah, we're full house.
Full house. You have outdoor back patio that probably seats damn near 80 to 100 people.
We can get 100 out there on a good day and 200 on a bad one.
Dang. And then the front porch, if you look behind us, the camera probably can't see it, but you got people, probably about 15, 25 people out front.
They're good. It's a good night.
It's unbelievable. And it's so I'm not going to talk about it. With me right now, I'm going to introduce you. We're going to bring a bunch of people on here. They're going to be coming on and off. We are right next door to Quantico, right? There's a lot of military Marines, former Marines in the house, current Marines in the house. I mean, this has just been such a supportive environment so far. I'm going to shut up because tonight's not about me. Tonight's about the service personnel. It's about Art having me down here and wanting to support the cause. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce Art Bennett. Say hi to everybody, Art.
Well, hi.
Art's an owner here at Embassy Cigar Lounge. And Art, tell us, you supposedly have been one of the owners who's been around the longest and knows this place intimately. So to start, tell us about Embassy Cigar Lounge, how long it's been around, what type of stuff you like doing around here. Tell everybody, give an introduction to Embassy for everybody.
Well, Embassy Cigar Lounge has been around for about 7 years now. We're right next to the Globe and Laurel restaurant, and it's a fixture in Stafford. That restaurant's been around for over 50 years. I think it's on its 53rd year. We opened the Cigar Lounge about 7 years ago, with a group of 5 people. That's expanded to 7 now. And we built it up from a hobby where it was a good place to get away from our wives for an evening, and it's actually turned into a business. And I never knew how much fun cigars really could be.
Yeah.
That
Go ahead.
we have a crowd of predominantly military, law enforcement, a lot of firefighters. We get the FBI Academy is located in Quantico. A lot of those people are in, so they even let someone like me who has an Army background come in. I think tonight we probably have most all the services represented. We get a lot of people from the Army, Air Force, Marines, you name it. They're in here on a regular basis.
Yeah, it seems like I was blown away. So I left Jersey this morning around 11 o'clock with Ming. Took about a 4-hour ride, Ming. 4:20 with the stops. Right, we had to stop off at State Line Liquor to get some unique beverages that we can't find back home. So that was fun. Then we took another little pit stop for some candy. But when I got down here, I was blown away at the size of the place. Blown away the fact we ordered food, we ordered beer. All of it's right next to you being brought in. The space is amazing, and it's packed on a Tuesday night. Like, I really couldn't believe it. And then when I'm passing, so I passed, Quantico's right there.
Right.
And they had the big memorials, and I was just, this place is amazing, and I'm so glad to have learned about it, and I'm very glad to be here tonight. Thank you so much.
Oh, well, thank you for coming. I mean, this is I wish I could say every night is this crowded, but boy, tonight is great. Usually Monday is a little slow. Tuesday it picks up, and from there on, who knows? The only problem we have is on a rainy night we can't fit more than 45 people.
Yeah.
But it's not too often we have to turn anybody away. So.
Yeah, but even so, you have the awning here for the people on the front porch, and out in the back porch, half of that's covered.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, right?
By next year, we'll have a tent up in the back.
Really?
So we will be able to host larger events, not only in the summer, but all year long.
See, in Jersey, we always got a guy. Right? So if you had, I met some firefighters here tonight, some code enforcers. You can't slip them a little, look the other way. Like, come on, we're going to let 60 people in.
Boy, don't I wish. Don't I wish. Nah, that unfortunately doesn't work that way down here. Although in another life, I did hire a guy from Jersey. That I was in the mortgage business. And he was our collector.
Leave it to Jersey to be a collector.
A guy by the name of Guido Fettuccini. Yeah, he made you an offer you couldn't refuse.
Oh, that's priceless. That's excellent. No, what I was going to interrupt, I didn't mean to interrupt you or cause a hesitation before, but it's funny. You said you use this kind of a place where people get away from their wives. I know you said it half jokingly, but there were 7 or 8 women here tonight too.
Oh yeah.
I was surprised by that. The second I walked up, and there's a ton of way more women than I'm used to. The only other place I probably have seen, and this is not to be stereotypical, it just is what it is. The demographics fall a certain way, right?
Sure.
So when I go to cigar sessions in Delaware, there are also many women, sitting there smoking cigars, and I think it has a lot to do with the type of place you set up, how welcoming it is, the ventilation. I mean, you have 40 people in here right now, and you wouldn't know a cigar is being smoking inside right now.
No.
Like that's pretty, or smoking, I don't know the word to use. But this is an incredible place. I was very, very humbly impressed by it. I walked in and I was like, holy mackerel. And then when I saw the place and all the people here, I even became humbler, like, wow, what a great night. All these people showing up. It's just really special. So thank you for helping me set all this up.
Oh,
it's a beautiful place.
It's my pleasure. We spent a lot of effort, a lot of money putting in an air conditioning system we change all the air in here every 5 minutes.
Do you really?
Yeah, it completely changed. And we can keep the smoke down. On a cold winter night with the place closed up, it's the same.
No sugar.
It's the same. Yeah.
That's awesome. What makes you happiest about? First of all, have you always lived in Virginia?
No, I'm originally from Pennsylvania.
What part?
A little town called Sharon in western Pennsylvania.
Okay, is that
right
near Pittsburgh?
North of
Are you a
Pittsburgh.
Steeler fan?
No. Sorry. The Washington football
Oh, I'll
team.
take that, but not Baltimore.
No, God. No.
Okay, good. All right.
Oh,
We're good.
no.
We're still good. We can still go on with the podcast.
Okay.
So you're from Western Pennsylvania. Where were you down here?
Pennsylvania. I was stationed down here when I was in the Army. And,
You also served the country.
oh, yes.
I did not know that, Art. Thank you for your service.
Hey, you're welcome.
Thank you. I did not know that.
And this was always one of the best economic areas in the country. Obviously the government is in this area, and government never gets smaller, so there are always jobs. We go through recessions just like everyone else, but the recessions aren't as deep and the peaks aren't as high. Yeah. So it's a great economic area.
That's awesome. And that's what brought you down here from Sharon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I stayed down here when I got out of the service. Was stationed at Fort Belvoir, and this was just an area where I wanted to be.
What made you get into cigars?
I got into cigars because, I stopped smoking cigarettes years and years ago. And one day a friend gave me a cigar. And I really enjoyed it. And it just started one after another, and gradually I smoked some more. Then I got a humidor in my office. And then I got a humidor at home, and my wife threw it out.
Anybody sound familiar? Does this sound familiar to folks out there?
So I put another one in, and after a while, it was a simple choice. She said, that humidor goes or I go. I told her I'd really miss her, but you see, I can be brave. She can't hear me, and I'm safe.
That's awesome.
I will tell you, the greatest thing about it, whenever I travel, the first thing I look for is a cigar bar or a cigar shop. It's someplace you can go in. You always meet great people. You have a good time. It just works out well.
So I'm going to pause you there. That's a great point, right? Because had I not been here for this event tonight, I don't know when the next time I would have been here, or know to have been here, or how to find you. Right. So what's your best advice? Because I'm telling you, people, this is going to be seen live. It's being watched live now. We're going to replay it. People are going to be able to log on and see it, and it's going to be a number of people. So if you're watching this and if you're on this, at some point in the future, Art's going to tell you right now how to find Embassy Cigar Lounge. So meaning, if you're in DC, you want to take an hour ride south, or if you're coming to train at Quantico, or what do you think is the best way a person could find us, or who should be finding you when they need to find you? Like, is that cigar smoker that lands in Dulles? Is it a cigar smoker coming up 95 in Virginia that wants to stop off a couple minutes and find a great cigar shop? Who should be finding you?
Well, first of all, anybody who smokes cigars should find us.
I'd agree.
That is a given.
I'd agree.
It's easy to find us. We're right off of Route 95, so whether you're headed north or south, we're easy to find. You either get off at Route 610 or you get off at Route 619.
And Ming, what was it for? 7 minutes, 8 minutes off of 95?
Oh yeah.
So it was within 10 minutes. So even if you want a cigar, it's not like you're going 20 minutes, 30 minutes backcountry, Stafford County, Virginia, right, to find you. Literally 5 minutes off the freeway.
Right. I live in Alexandria, Virginia, which is right outside of Washington, D.C. It's right across the river. And it takes me about 30 minutes to get down and 25 minutes to get back home.
Come on. So, dude, if you're in D.C. area, you're in Arlington, Virginia, Alexandria, Virginia, you're in any of those places, and you want a little change of scenery from your local cigar shop, you have to come down here and check this out. You have to. And they're probably sitting home, I don't have to do anything. If you want a great cigar experience and you want to see a really unique lounge with a restaurant and bar attached to it, come on down. Come on down.
Well, the one thing you'll find, you're always welcome here. We have a great group of regulars. Probably 75% of the people that are here tonight are regular customers.
And I had a laugh. I was out back having a cigar with Charlie before, and we're sitting there, and the door opens up, and I don't know who the gentleman is. I wasn't fortunate enough to meet him yet, but literally the door opened. They greeted each other with a little ball busting that lasted 4 seconds. And the guy continued out back, opened up his laptop to have a cigar, and I was just sitting there laughing, like, you're at a place you can almost call home when stuff like that happens. Like, everybody knows everybody. The ball busting is getting rampant. Like, we busted each other for 5 minutes. We hate each other.
We don't take prisoners. We are equal opportunity insulters. So, what can I say?
I lived it. I know. He speaks the truth. What are you proudest of about this place? Because there's so much about which you could be proud. But what are you happiest about when you come here as an owner? You see 35, 40 people inside, 20 people outside. They're all having a great time, laughing, busting balls, smoking. What are you happiest about with this place that you've built up?
Oh, there's no question. I'm happiest about the people. I was not one of the original owners. And when I got the opportunity, I couldn't pass it up. You meet so many unique people. I've been sitting in here with a number of Marines, enlisted officers. We've had most of the commandants of the Corps have come in occasionally. We get just a tremendous variety of people, and they're all great. They're friendly. You have a good time. It's just an enjoyable place to come.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, I'm going to interview a couple other people, and I think my DC firefighter, Chris, just walked inside. Hey, Josh, real quick, I think that's the firefighter from DC that came in to join us. He just went into the bar. His name is Chris. If you want to go in and just bring him over to this side. His name is Chris. He's wearing like a white blue polo shirt. He's inside at the bar. Big dude. So if there was any lasting word you could leave with anybody who's on the borderline saying, hey, I'm in DC, I'm 30 minutes away, or in Alexandria, or what's south 30 minutes?
Oh, if Fredericksburg.
How far is Richmond?
Richmond's an hour away. It's
an hour. I mean, I'm in Jersey, I drive an hour. We're going to drive an hour October 28th to the comedy night we're having, an hour and 20 minutes. That's nothing.
We have people coming, stopping by here regularly that when they're on their way north, when they're on their way south, if they've been here before, they come back.
Yeah.
We get, every night there's a few new people, but it's always a core group of regulars, plus people that come in maybe once a month. We've got people that are in here 5 nights a week.
Yeah.
If you took away the regulars, we wouldn't have a crowd.
Yeah.
But we're able to fill the place up.
Yeah.
We have, you name it, they come in.
That's awesome.
And you never know who you're going to be sitting next to.
Oh.
I've been in, what amazed me about it, I came in here one night, This is probably about 5 or 6 years ago, before I was involved in the lounge. I'm sitting at a table. There's about 6 or 7 of us sitting at the table. One was a former commandant of the Marines. Sitting next to him was a Lance Corporal. We had a couple of government people in here. I mean, it's just amazing. It's
That's
just
awesome.
A great group of people.
Art, what would be your brand promise to those folks within a 45-minute radius? If you come here, then what?
If you come here, expect a good time. If you walk in and you don't know anyone, the first thing that's going to happen is somebody's going to grab you and say, hey, come on over and join us.
Yep.
That's, we don't like people sitting by themselves. By the same token, we've got several people who you come in here regularly that are working on their doctorates.
I saw that one dude. He's right over there. He's got his computer open working on something, right?
Yeah. It's we've got a few that come in here just to sit and work. If you want to do that, fine. You're welcome to do it. On the other hand, we'd much rather have you come in, sit down, and join one of the tables.
That's awesome. Well, there you have it. From one of the owners, Art Bennett. He's here at Embassy Cigar Lounge, Stafford, Virginia. And we're having a great time tonight. There's a lot of people he wants to talk to and say hi to. I promised him I'd only have him on here for a few minutes, and he told me he said a few things to me that if I had him on any longer, but I can't say them on air because I'm trying to watch my language. So, Art, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I really appreciate it. You have an incredible place here, and the night's only starting.
And thank you so much for coming in and joining us tonight.
Yeah, it's absolutely my pleasure. Absolutely my pleasure. Thanks, Art. And thanks for your service. I didn't know you served. Thank you. All right, go get Rick up here. Thanks, Art. Let's go, Rick. Where's Rick at? You're next, Rick. What's up, Chris? How you doing, all right? Nice to see you. Well, I can't stand up. I'm all wired up and everything else, but thanks for coming in, man. I'm going to have a couple other guys on, and then you'll close it out. All right, so they have beer here. It's on me. I'll get you a cigar. Josh, he'll help you out, but this is Chris from DC, Firefighter, so he's going to be on the podcast, and just take care of him, please, on me. All right? Thanks, bro. Thanks for coming down here, man. Good to see you. Yeah. I heard, well, we beat it. We left Jersey at 11. So I got here at like 3. Yeah. Yeah, where's Rick? Is Rick coming? You can come on here. Yeah. So we have this. Oh, here comes Rick. Here comes Rick. Here, get him on. Get him on. Get him on. Let Rick come on, because I know Rick's outside with his buddies. He's got to go. I'll have you on after Rick. Can we do that?
If he comes, I don't
He's coming. He's coming. He's coming. Hey Ming, just go tell. It'll sound more professional from you. You got it. Yeah. The guy sitting down in a suit. Just go there. Yeah, the guy with the jacket. Just tell him that the show can't go on until he comes on. He'll listen to you. You're the show guy.
Producer.
See, listen. Anytime I send Ming out, they've got to listen to me because Ming's running the show. So the guy's going to scream and curse and kick, but he's coming.
You want me to do mine first?
Yeah, but you're going to be about 10 minutes to 15 minutes. And if he gets up in the next 2 minutes, I need him here. And if he sees you in that seat, he's not going to be here.
I'm sitting there talking. Said he needed a second. All right, let's do it. We'll do ours and then he'll come.
All right, we'll do ours. Rick's going to get backlash for this. How are you all doing tonight over there? You doing good? What are you drinking? Is that an old-fashioned or something? Yeah, looks good. We were just talking about how many ladies are here smoking tonight, and it's awesome. Nice. Well, thank you for your support. I see you're smoking Los Caidos. Thank you so much for coming in. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that support. What's your name?
My name is Rihanna.
Rihanna? I'm Steve. And you, Christopher, I'm Steve. Nice to meet you. I couldn't just talk to her and get her name. He's ready to kick my ass. He's like, my name's Christopher. What's yours? I'm gonna get my ass kicked over here. Oh, you're Air Force, so that makes it better. So I'm not gonna get, yeah, whatever. You're just gonna do a little flyover. Yeah. Wait, I'm hiding my phone. All right, everybody. Oh, here comes Rick. Rick's on.
I'm getting kicked out.
You're not getting kicked out. Listen,
I'm
I
getting
love you,
bumped.
but listen, I know you're on a time schedule. But this dude, come on, he's an author.
I got you.
Thank you for helping us test that mic a little further. Wick, we're ready for you. No, we're ready. Yes. I know you're mad at me. Rick, I know you're mad at me.
I expect a lot of drinks from you.
Yep. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well, thanks.
I know that is such a lie. You're so mad at me right now. Don't be mad at me. But this podcast is about human interest stories, right? And people just to get to know each other, through cigars. And you were not an intended guest, and I know everybody busted your balls about coming on and everything else, but when you told me the story about your dad and the book he wrote, I became very interested, and I really wanted you on here. Not just to tell that story, but also talk about yourself a little bit. So,
every Marine officer loves to talk about themselves.
I know. You all are so, it's like having to pull teeth to try to get anyone to talk. Mm-hmm. But seriously, open up a little bit if you don't mind tonight, and then we could take it right off of you, and then tell the story about your dad, how he became an author, and tell a little bit of the story you told me tonight. And if you could do that for 5 to 10 minutes, that I think is going to add tremendous value to people smoking a cigar and watching the show tonight.
Okay.
All right?
Yeah.
So tell us about yourself.
I'm a Marine Corps junior. I joined the Marine Corps like when I was born. My dad was always a Marine forever, and I always wanted to be a Marine, so I did. But you have to imagine a guy like my dad, who none of you have met. He's a World War II Marine, and the stories that I would hear as a kid were phenomenal. And as I grew up, I realized these are all real stories. We had our first restaurant was down in Quantico Town, and as a kid, this is when I call the forced slave labor days, because my dad made me work all the time. I would hear these stories from these Marines that would come down for lunch, and they would sit there and tell all these stories. And I knew all these dads because they're my buddies' dads, but these are guys that have Navy Crosses and all these other awards because of the things they did in Vietnam, and it was just amazing to hear it, and it was all true. Phenomenal stuff. Now, my dad was a World War II guy, he was a Korea guy, and he's a Vietnam veteran, so he's done it all. And it was just amazing listening to these stories as a kid, to hear what my dad had to say. And I told you earlier, we got my dad to use a computer, and I would tell him, Dad, just write some of these stories down.
So let me preface the story a little bit, right? So I come in here tonight, and they're like, hey, you got to meet Rick, and that's after a couple guys busted his balls because they're like, you got to get on a show. He's like, I'm not getting on a show, and then they had these beautiful shirts, and they're like, Steve, how you doing tonight? I'm like, it'd be a lot better if I'd have one of those shirts. They're like, well, Rick is in charge of the shirts, and everybody was on you for quite some time, and then a dude walks up to him with this book that's enclosed in cellophane with a note on it. And it looked beautiful, and he's like, oh, can I get you to sign it later? And he's saying that to Rick. So I was like, oh, Rick, like, why would you sign books? Are you an author? He's like, yeah, I've written some, but let me tell you about my dad's book. Let me tell you about my dad. So everything, it seems to be like you really deflect a lot of stuff onto your dad. So it sounds like your dad was this is almost ignorant to say, but it sounds like he was a huge influence on your life.
Yeah, and I think those people here that know him would tell you that's exactly the way he is. He's such a gentleman, such a wonderful guy, and a wonderful personality, and everything he did was true. It was just great listening to his stories. He has a mind that most people could wish for, because he remembers everything.
So on that note, I asked you about the book, and you then touched on your dad's memory, and now talk about how he wrote that book and how you got him to get on a computer.
His first book was a compilation of these stories that he had as a kid, going through recruit training and going to the war in World War II. It was amazing. And I said, Dad, you got to write these things down. And so he sat there and started writing. And 700 pages later, he showed it to a friend of his who took that, edited it, and bound it and said, here's your first book. And it was the first of 3 books. It's an anthology, and it was my dad starting out in the Marine Corps, from a kid on the streets of San Francisco, and how the whole platoon that he went to recruit training with, or boot camp with, deployed to the war together. And by the end of the book, there's just my dad and his best friend that are left. There's no one else. Everyone else has been killed. So it was an amazing story. But what made that so amazing was, as my dad's writing the epitaph to the book, or epilogue to the book, a guy knocks at our back door of one of our restaurants, and my dad was in there, and he wanted to see my dad, to tell my dad, I just buried my dad. And that was the other guy that died from this World War II era. And so my dad was the only one left. I tease him. I say, well, now you can make up anything you want. People believe it, you know. I talk about my dad a lot because he's just a great guy, and he's very credible. And it's one of those rare things where you and your dad can hang out together. And this is what we do. We smoke cigars and drink wine and just kind of hang out.
That's not wine.
Well, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I actually had the unique experience of being with my dad about 10 years ago. He had been asked to be a guest lecturer and for the military historic tours, which is a great venue for people who want to go relive the battlefields and whatnot. And we went to Saipan and Tinian and Guam, all very small little islands. My dad was the guest speaker, and it was a great and really surreal experience to be able to relive those things with your dad. Yeah. We're standing in Saipan, and it's paradise. It's absolutely a beautiful place. But my dad's telling the stories about how the Japanese families would jump off the cliffs, because that's where you've heard those things where people jump off the cliffs. Yeah. That's where that was mostly. Amazing stuff. But I was able to be there with my dad. It was kind of cool. Yeah. Just great stuff.
Yeah, one of my dear friends, former player, used to coach high school basketball back home. Michael Malone works closely with the Best Defense Foundation, so very, very closely. And the stories you're talking about now reminds me of Michael's work that he does with those folks.
Sure.
So your dad's still with us. How old is he?
He just turned 95 the other day.
Tell the folks. See, I have the privilege of talking to everybody behind the scenes before the show starts over Cigars. Tell everybody about the Zoom call.
Oh my gosh. My wife set it up so that we'd have, during COVID, we'd be able to talk to our family on a Zoom call. And every weekend we'd talk to Dad, and he'd be there sitting there in a coat and tie. And I'd laugh at him. I said, Dad, you're sitting there in a coat and tie and you're at home. He says, yes, I am. I said, you don't have to do that. He says, no, you don't lower your standards just because those around you do. And to this day, you'll see him in a coat and tie at home.
Yeah. Still passing those tidbits of wisdom on at 95, right?
I'm afraid so. Yeah, I get a lot of that.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So tell us briefly about the works you've done. Have you also written books?
Nothing like
listen,
that.
It's not necessarily it's all about your dad, but just tell us one or two things that you found exciting. Because look, it sounds like your dad passed a lot on to you, and it sounds like writing is one of those things.
Yeah, but
is it fair to say that?
I tell him I took after Mom. His mom was the tough one, actually. But no, I was a Marine officer, stayed in for a while, and had a lovely career. It's a great opportunity to be able to serve and be able to serve with the young Marines around you. That's the greatest privilege you could ever have. And it's something you never forget. And you want to be around those types of people. And that's why we're here. A lot of these people are Marines, and they'll always be Marines, and you have that same shared experience. We laugh about it a lot and say, yeah, it's shared misery, because it's not an easy game. And I always say Marine Corps is a tough man's or a young man's sport, because it is. You get hurt pretty easily. It's just tough. Yeah. And any of the services are like that. They have their own little niche.
Yeah.
Marine Corps, we kind of brag about the fact that we're tough, and yeah, we endure a lot of pain, mostly because we're just kind of naive and we go with it. But, no, it's a good experience. Love being a Marine. I'll always be a Marine, just like Dad. And not so much to take after Dad, something very dear and very old family friend, Frank Bowles, who was the person who started hostage rescue. He was a New York cop And he was the one who kind of invented our hostage rescue people, if you want to call them that. And as a kid, he's the one who taught me, don't ever walk in your own dad's footsteps. Be able to walk beside him.
Yeah.
And you know what? I've lived my life that way, and I've taught my daughters. I have 3 daughters. I've taught them to do the same thing. And just be you. And live life the way you can. You know, just like my dad did. He's loved every minute of everything he's done. So I got to give him that. And it's helped me in everything I've done. Just enjoy what you're doing. And be happy that you're around Marines, because they're great people.
I'm finding that out tonight, and I'm happy to be here. And I know you want to get with your friends out front that we dragged you out here. But listen, thank you so much. Thank you for your service.
I appreciate that.
I sincerely, humbly appreciate your service.
Thank you so much for
Rick.
your time.
And then we'll get back to ball busting in about an hour.
That's right.
Rick, thank you so much. Thank you. All right, Josh, come on up. Rick, thank you so much. Seriously, thank you. Yo! What's up, boy? Holy mackerel, the heavies came. Here, I got a cigar. They're in the green ammo case. There's a green. Josh, there's a green ammo case around there somewhere on the floor. Pop it open and get Glenn one. Holy cow, the heavies came, man. I would have worn my bow tie. The fact that I even said I'm going to wear my bow tie, anyone watching from the industry already knows who's coming. They already know who's coming.
This thing's got some age on it. Oh, I'm on a mic.
Holy cow, I cannot believe. Cellophane drop.
How are you?
How the heck are you, man?
What's happening?
I'm all wired up. I can't stand up. I'm afraid of loosening things. How the heck are you, man?
I just rode in,
I am
and
so happy.
you're my first stop.
I am
and
so happy.
what are you playing? Master of Ceremonies?
Yeah. What a show it's going to be.
What is he's joining us, isn't he?
So, ladies and gentlemen, it is a great privilege. I mean, I'm just stuck in privilege and honor tonight,
good.
right?
You've been drinking already?
No, not at all. But if you think about who I'm with, like seriously, 2 people came out. They're Marines, right? One served the Army for years. One served our country as a Marine for years, right? So how, who am I? Do you know what I'm saying?
We're next to every Marine in America.
It's unbelievable. It's very, very humbling when you think about it. Like, I'm just a schmuck that helps out with cigars. But these guys have served our country. It's just amazing. I'm very humbled. And then you show up, head of the cigar industry, the face of the cigar industry.
You are drinking.
Whatever. All you guys, I think is anybody going to get on the show tonight and say they're good at something? Is anyone going to come on? So, ladies and gentlemen, who we have with us right here is a dear friend of mine for years who we met on a call when I was a retailer at Beach House Cigars in Manasquan on a call for Cigar Rights of America, CRA. He led that organization for how many years?
12.
And now you are with?
Day.
And now you are with?
The Premium Cigar Association.
Yes, so Glenn jumped ship. He left the CRA. He now represents our cigar industry as a whole. He's fighting for our rights to smoke cigars from the FDA. I know that we're in government. I don't know if anybody from the FDA is here tonight. If you are, have a good time. But Glenn
shouldn't be regulating fun.
Glenn is out there, and it's just to make it's Glenn, not Glenn. Glenn is out there fighting for us every day. We've been friendly since 2014 or 15.
Every bit of it.
Always had my back. Great family man, right? So I know that his daughter went to JMU. My friend was coaching at JMU, so we got to know each other at a little bit personal level outside of cigars. And by the way, this is really cool because I did not know he was going to be here tonight. I
didn't know you were going to be here tonight.
Are you serious?
I didn't know. And I showed up anyway.
That's awesome. So what are you up to? Tell everybody watching what you're up to in the industry and what's going on with you.
Well, I'm Director of State Affairs, State Advocacy, State Lobbying, which means I have America for the premium cigar retailers across our land, from Bangor, Maine to Los Angeles, California, all points in between. The state capitals are the incubators for tobacco control legislation. So our opposition, or as I'm fond of calling them, the body parts lobby, heart, lung cancer, and any other body parts you can think of, plant legislation in state capitals across America. And it has a way of spreading like wildfire. And so you got to put the brush fire out here and the brush fire out there. And every now and then some good positive legislation is introduced in a state capital. So we're handling the grassroots side of the equation. We are educating and counseling retailers across America on how to handle legislation, good, bad, and indifferent. How to build relationships with their legislators to make their presence felt, to build cigar consumers and retailers up as a bona fide political constituency so that they're taken seriously by elected officials, and using the voluminous amounts of research that the industry's now generated as a result of regulation. I've said 1,000 times, if anything good has come out of the federal regulatory process, if anything good has happened, it has forced us to study ourselves.
Yep.
And now we have studied ourselves in ways that the industry never dreamed possible. We've generated thousands and thousands of pages of data, research studies that substantiate we're not the problem.
Right.
Don't treat us like you do every other tobacco product. And we have shared that research now from literally from the capital in Minnesota to the capital in Maine to the capital in Texas. This research is not only helping to win court battles at the federal level, it's helping in state capitals. It's helping in city halls to get, it was just over the last 3 months, I shared all of our research on demographics, public health impact, how we do not have an adverse impact on inhalation, addiction, mortality, how America's youth don't gravitate to premium handmade cigars. Shared that with Louisville City Council, with Augusta City Council, with city councils across the country that are now entertaining cigar bar, cigar lounge ordinances and statutes. So it's being multiplied many, many times over.
Because they realize we're not the problem.
We're not the problem.
But do you feel we needed the data to show
we
it?
want to do this.
Yeah. Who we hurting?
And without federal intervention.
Yeah.
I mean, here we are, you and I are in the shadows of the swamp.
Yep.
We're literally in the shadows. Can you feel it?
I do. I do. I'm looking over my shoulder.
And not too far from where we're sitting,
Yep.
there's about 490 federal bureaucrats thinking every day, how can I stop these guys from doing that?
Yeah.
That's what they're thinking.
Yeah.
That's in their job description.
Yeah.
How do I stop these guys from doing this?
Makes little sense. Makes little sense. But you talk about an interesting thing, because you and I have been talking a decade now. Do you find that data, how helpful was the data?
It's amazing. Excuse me.
Do you feel like that was a big missing piece beforehand?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have said spend the money on the research with or without litigation. With or without the litigation.
Now you just said an important word there, right? Money.
Oh.
It costs money. So a lot of people, I've always criticized this industry because I look at a lot of places, and I was one. So I'm just putting myself out there to anybody watching, anyone listening. I am putting myself in the first group 4 right now. I think I've grown and have changed, but when I had my little shop, I wanted it to be a place where I could have a place to smoke cigars, but I wasn't running it as a real business. And if you remember the call I was on, we have talked about that, where I got on and said, listen, I'm not that upset with the big online boys because they have the deep pockets that fund the fight. Do you remember me saying that?
I do.
And everybody cut me off. I was blackballed, black sheep. No retailer in America. Am I right or wrong?
No, you are right.
Nobody wanted to talk to me because I said that on a national CRA call, and they said, what the hell are you talking about? And I said, well, listen, you have one store. Can you put up $1 million to fight? Can you put up $1 million to fight? And every one of them said no.
Well,
but if we get together, that can change. But the problem is not everyone seems to be getting together to put up a little bit of money.
there's a lot of truth in that.
That's all. That's my only point.
There is a lot of
I get
truth
really,
in
really frustrated. They want the right to sit there and own a business, to feed their family, but they don't get into the fight themselves.
Well, this research serves everybody. Everybody, large, small, mid-size, manufacturer, retailer, distributor, consumer.
Of course it does, because without the data, we don't have a fight. Without the fight, we have
The
nothing.
problem is big tobacco can take everything we've done out of petty cash. Collectively, the Cigar Rights of America and the Premium Cigar Association have spent well over $15 million now between the litigation, but it has saved, one calculation, and I'm not making this number up, it has saved this industry $500 million in compliance costs, in repackaging costs, in testing costs. I mean, I'll give you one graphic example because he gave me permission to use this number. Our friend Rocky Patel.
I was just going to mention Rocky.
Well, Rocky's got, I don't know, 3,000 SKUs, somewhere in that ballpark. Based upon the only methodology we've got, which is a cigarette methodology, if premium handmade cigars were forced to be tested the way cigarettes are, it would cost Rocky's company alone $65 million.
That's how
$65 million.
Right.
I asked our mutual friend Glenn Case with Christoph Cigars.
Yep.
Glenn's not a huge company. He's not a huge company. Great mid-sized company, let's say that.
Yep. Oh, I know Glenn well. Consider him a friend.
I said, Glenn, what if the federal government comes up and says, you know, for you to comply, your annual cost for compliance with the regulation, much less testing, is $600,000. He says, I'm gone.
Yeah.
I'm gone.
Well, see, I wouldn't say that. I'd say I'm coming to Glen Loop for a loan.
You ain't getting very far.
But do you understand my point? Is like the PCA is having a dinner tomorrow night in Washington, D.C. Everybody should be part of that. Every retailer should join the PCA. Everybody should be giving what they can. Now it goes to the biblical story, the lady giving a penny. She might not have given much, but she gave what she had.
That's right.
And I think a lot of small retailers, small brands like me, I mean, I'm a pimple on everybody's ass in this industry. I am that small. But I give what I can when I can. I try. Whatever effort I can do, whether it's an introduction, whether it's a little bit of money, whatever it is, I try to do what I can to help. And I think all retailers should be asking themselves that same question.
Absolutely.
What can I be doing to help you guys fight so I can keep my business?
You know, the premium handmade cigar sector is right at $1 billion annually. $1 billion. Exports, and that doesn't include Cuba. That does not include Cuba. So Honduras, Nicaragua, Dominican Republic, what's coming out of Costa Rica, what's coming out of Mexico. Predominantly the United States market, just a hair over $1 billion. Take out two companies and you're almost at 50%. 50% of that. Two companies are almost 50% of that of that billion.
Los Caidos isn't one of them?
No, I'm afraid you're in the next $500 million. Now the point of it is this: it shouldn't be that difficult to raise $10 million to save $500 million industry.
You're not
much less $1 billion. It shouldn't be that difficult to raise $10 million, and for $10 million, you can cover your litigation expenses. You can cover your advocacy expenses. You can have a national political network, state capital, state capital, state capital. You can have the best fleet of lawyers in Washington, D.C. to defend us in court, defend us in the state courts if necessary, putting lobbyists in state capitals across the country for $10 million. It shouldn't be that big of a challenge to raise $10 million on $500 million, much less $1 billion.
Yep. Why is it then?
The list is long and distinguished.
Yep. I mean, we probably know.
But honestly, I mean, if we're talking the pure psychology of these things, I hate to say it, but we haven't felt enough pain.
Yeah.
And we haven't felt enough pain because we have won in court.
Yep.
As an industry, we have won in court. If your company, your, as you put it, little company, had been made to comply with the regulations that were in the original final rule,
I'm out.
You're done.
I'm out.
You're not even a retailer.
I'm out.
You're done.
Yep.
One court victory saved this industry from a lot of pain.
Yep.
If it had gone the other way, and there was no way to predict which way it was going to go, who knows what it would have, I mean, literally, I'll give you an example. I was out in Oregon and we were briefing the staff of one of the United States senators from Oregon, and we all met at Broadway Cigar in Portland, sizable cigar lounge in Portland. We had about, I don't know, 8, 9 retailers from the greater Portland, Oregon area show up for the meeting.
Did you say 8 or 9 or 89?
No, 8 or 9.
Gotcha.
It was 8 to 10
Yeah, 8 to 10,
retailer
okay.
shops.
Gotcha.
And the senator's staff. And it was a sizable walk-in humidor. And I said, everybody walk into the humidor. So you picture 10 retailers, a couple of members of the U.S. Senator's staff, me, a couple of us, all packed into a humidor. And I went around that humidor, and you can do this at any humidor in America. I went around and I went, that one can't afford regulation. That one can't afford regulation. This one's out of business. And by the time I went through that humidor, I said, about 40% of this room is gone. How many of you can afford to support your retail business if 40% of your humidor cannot afford to be regulated? They're gone.
Yeah.
They're all out of business.
Yeah.
Every single one of them.
Yeah.
And the story holds across America.
Yeah.
You know as well as I do, and your cigar is a living, breathing example of this. The boutique market has helped to fill a lot of shelf space in humidors across America because they're producing great cigars. What's new? What's fresh? What's new to the industry? That's helping the small business boutique side of the manufacturing end of the industry.
Yeah.
What if that just goes poof?
Yeah.
Everybody's smoking the same stuff.
Yeah.
Well, that's not the market.
I mean, and also for me, that speaks very specifically because through my cigar, we've been able to give out $21,000 to family members of fallen police officers and firefighters. So when my cigar goes, that goes too.
And this one obviously has some age on it. Look at that. Look at that.
5 years. 5 years.
I'm telling you, I feel special.
You are. You shouldn't feel it. You should know you're special to me.
No, you're the brother I never had.
Come on. We've had some good times.
Oh
We've
my
had
God,
some good times.
great conversation.
So, keeping on a story, what would your biggest piece of advice be to retailers, consumers as well, listening right now? What's the big takeaway from your position as PCA representative fighting the fight for us? What message do you need people to hear right now?
Right now, at this very moment, and this is a brief moment, snapshot in time, but this very moment, everybody needs to go to cigaraction.org and let their opposition to proposed federal taxes on premium handmade cigars and pipe tobacco, let their voice be heard to oppose, because it's on the table now. I mean right now. Dick Durbin of Illinois has gotten his dream that he's had for a decade, integrating the Tobacco Tax Equalization Act into this giant budget package that's currently in front of Congress. Go to cigaraction.org and oppose those federal taxes. It's a 1,000, I'm not making this number up, it's a 1,000% increase. 1,000% tax increase that's currently on the table with the United States Congress. So if we're talking about here, now, today, cigaraction.org, sign that petition, call your U.S. member, your member of the U.S. House of Representatives, call your 2 United States Senators' offices, go to their district offices, that everybody in America lives within 30 miles of a district office, go to it and say, if you vote for those taxes, I'm going to remember on Election Day. And that's just a few weeks from now.
Yep.
That's number one.
How many numbers do we have? So when you say that collectively, does that matter to the politician?
I think it matters in the House of Representatives.
Okay.
I do. I've been in too many of those offices, and people question this. They got a staff member sitting there going, yay, nay, yay, nay, yay. Are you in the congressman's district? That's the question. Are you in the congressman's district? Yes, I am. Yay, nay.
Yep.
And they keep track of that if you're in their congressional district.
Yep. So, and retailers also could be like I'm a retailer. Like the retail never leaves you, right? Especially when you work with Scott Regina. You were taught right. It never leaves you. So my thing is this: retailers can also host their own pop-up meetings with their
Absolutely.
consumers, giving them the same message. Get on cigaraction.org and oppose this.
We call them cigar town halls. Invite your member of Congress in on the weekend, next weekend. Invite your member of Congress into your cigar shop. Show them you're a small business. Show them the demographic that's in your lounge.
I mean, look at this.
Oh, our demographic in America is 35 to 65. 35 to 65.
Yep.
I guarantee you that's the vast majority of what's in this room right now.
35 to 65, and it's every color, gender. I mean, it's the whole gamut. It's the whole gamut. in
We've
that
even
age
got
bracket.
Josh here, and nobody knows how old he is.
There's no comment further on that. We could have a whole show on that. Well, Glenn, thank you so much for stopping by. It is so good to see you.
It's great to see you, my friend.
Are you staying?
Are we live? Or are we on a pod?
Oh,
What
no,
are
we're
we
live.
doing?
We're live. This is live. It's going to
Oh,
be
now I got to tell
recorded.
the truth. I'm just kidding. I stand behind every word I just uttered.
So we're live. It's going to stay on forever on the Los Caidos Facebook page.
Oh, very good.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm a strong supporter. I'm not backing down
I
from the
know
police, the
you are.
fire, from PCA.
let's take the show on the road.
I do.
Yeah,
I
well, not
do.
with me.
No, not with you, but let's do it.
We need a tour together, you and me.
Let's do it. I'm down for that. I'm absolutely down for that.
And I'm coughing because of my sinuses draining, not because of this cigar.
I know that's everybody. We don't have anything to drink, so I get it.
Yeah, let's fix that next time.
Listen, you can go. I can't, so you can go get a drink.
Every retailer in America, join the PCA, join the cause, circulate cigaraction.org with your customers. Let's build up cigar consumers as a national political constituency.
Let's do it. You heard it here from Glenn Loop himself, everybody. Now at the PCA, they're having a great dinner tomorrow night, Washington, D.C. Go support it. I'm probably going to head back to Jersey with Ming tonight and drive back to D.C. tomorrow.
Are you kidding?
No.
Oh my God.
Dude, I'm all in. I told you I'm all in. Both feet, baby.
Well, you could stay.
Nah, no, he's got a family to get back to. I got a family to get back to. Come on, man. That's how we do. Ming's like, no, I can stay.
You staying tomorrow night?
I should be.
You're not going back to Jersey. You take the train or you drive down?
Come on, man.
You don't believe in Amtrak? Or what is
I drive, but I like to be on my own schedule. You know that. I like my own schedule. That's why I let being the vice principal to do
Oh
this.
my God.
You can only pee between 1 and 1:30. No. I'm going to open a cigar.
And I get it. You can smoke all the way home.
Yes.
It helps.
I smoked Ming out on the way down here. Thank God he's okay with it. Brother.
I love you
always
like
good.
as Michael Herklots puts it, I love you like a fat kid loves cake.
You're sticking around, right?
I am.
Because I have one more guest. A firefighter came down from D.C. He's a Jersey guy. We're going to talk, and then we're going to wrap it up, close it down. So I want to have a drink with you.
Done.
All right. See you later, Glenn.
You're the best.
Thank you so much for coming on. What a surprise. Folks, ladies and gentlemen, Glenn Loop. Who knew? I tried getting him out of that bow tie for years. It's just not going to work. But at this age, he thought I said Botox, and now his lips look big for some reason. I don't know. All right, Ming, we still on? Chris is in the middle of a conversation. I'm going to take my lapel. Keep it running if you can, because I don't want you to have to reset. I'm just going to go get Chris real quick.
Absolutely. Hey, you have no idea how awesome it was. No, like seriously, like I appreciate that. Like I appreciate the warm welcome for sure. Well, guys like me basically try 10 times harder to get through. That's why we make it.
I got one more guest for you, even if it's for 3-5 minutes. My uncle, he's an interesting character. He's a major Baltimore police department.
Okay.
And also with the Ben Franklin.
Gentlemen, before you start that, let me get to the thermostat.
Yes. Go ahead.
And clean this table, especially if it's going to be on camera.
You sure?
Yes. Give me. Can I
All
get
right.
2 minutes?
Yep, folks,
Can
we're
I
gonna
get
take
2 minutes?
two. We're gonna 2 minutes. 2 minutes.
Give me 2 minutes, please.
You got it. I'll go use the restroom.
Go.
Thank you so much, Mug.
Enjoy. Anything else?
No, this
Nope,
is
looks
perfect.
clean.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you. I'm just letting you know I'm supposed to be watching Jeopardy right now.
Are you taping it at least?
No, but I want to beat that son of a bitch that's been winning like 34 times. Matt Amodio, something like
Whenever
that.
I'm at home in Erie,
Matt, I'm coming for you.
Jeopardy. That's an Erie thing.
Oh, my wife and I were on it last night watching. I want to beat Matt Amodio. So just a reminder to anybody in the house, if you purchase a box of Los Caidos cigars, you get one cigar to smoke. Thank you so much, Sarah. Thank you very much. Give it up for Sarah. Thank you, Sarah. So if you buy a box of Los Caidos cigars to support the cause and smoke a great cigar tonight, you get one for free, so you don't have to open the box, and you also get a lighter with it. So feel free to support it. $1 goes back on every cigar sold to family members, fallen police officers, and firefighters. With me now is this guy looking strangely at me because we've done so much great work together.
So many crazy stories.
Crazy stories. Josh Habersky, welcome to the show, baby.
Cheers.
Good
Steve.
to see you. Good to see you. So
Feels like family reunion.
it is a family reunion. I got your uncle here tonight.
My uncle, he's going to come on the podcast.
Well, last time I think I was hugging your grandmother and she sat on my lap and I didn't let her go.
Yep.
And your mother and other family members had some things to ask you about
Yeah,
that.
they were like, what's this going on Facebook? They saw the photo. But we were at Cigar Sessions. You did another great event. PCA member, great proprietor there. We had a great time, good event, and we had a solid event tonight.
Yes, very, very pleased with tonight. Again, crowd has not diminished. 30, 40 people here inside, another 10, 15, 20. Rick ran right back to his seat outside.
He's not coming back on the podcast.
I went out there and they're like, don't tell me take two. I said, no, what'd you think? So what's going on with you? For those of you who don't know, Josh has been the face for a minute for PCA, Premium Cigar Association. He's been a guy, I've gone to FDA meetings with him. If he wants to share with you any stories from that, he may. Everything is on the table. Josh and I have been thrown out of famous restaurants in Vegas together for reasons you may not think. Right now you're probably thinking we were drinking and no, nothing at all. No. We're doing something we shouldn't have been and we didn't know. But we have a great relationship. He's the reason I'm down here tonight. So without further ado, without me really talking, tell us what you're doing now. Tell us if you can, whatever you want to talk about.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what you want to really say, but I wanted to have you on because you're an important voice in the industry.
Absolutely. I appreciate the opportunity to talk about my love and passion for premium cigars. I'm fortunate enough to have my dream job with the PCA, lobbying for our rights to enjoy cigars. All of the great 3,000 plus retailers and lounges across the country. And I'm proud, a couple months ago, I was able to join a partnership here at Embassy Cigar Lounge. So I'm a retailer as well. A couple months even before that at the trade show, Luciano and I launched our own cigar, El Politico, which again...
Do you have any of those?
Well, I have a few here with me, so...
I should have, why didn't you, I would have smoked that.
Well, I'll give you one later. We'll get you one later.
All right.
But
because I had it before and it's awesome.
Yeah, we enjoyed quite a few, and it's one of those things where I want to know about the cigar industry and what better way to get involved. I've paid the OTP tax, I've paid the user fee and excise tax. I know what the pain points on a much smaller scale that that our retailers and our manufacturers face. So if I'm going to go there and speak to the FDA and speak to members of Congress, I want to be able to do it knowing the intricacies of the industry. Travel to Nicaragua, spent times in the farm, factory, and fields and see what all of the people involved in this process, this artisanal craft, come together. And I'm fortunate enough going to the Dominican Republic this month, traveling around. We're doing a lot on the international scale because a lot of times we think about the regulation we face in the United States, but there are global issues related to the supply chain, employment, and we're having those conversations. Tomorrow, we're going to be joined at an international policy summit virtually with trade ministers, ambassadors, Senator Bob Menendez from New Jersey, Senator Marco Rubio from Florida. We really have all the primetime voices in elected office and from other countries coming together to talk about cigars and cigar policy.
So what you may not know, I know you don't know this, my life story came full circle when the Capitol police officer was killed because he was from South River, New Jersey, the same city that reared my best friend who died in 9/11. The whole reason why I do the cigar, keep the open space, and what made me think of cigars being so powerful to reconnect with loved ones. So when we were there, I was invited to be part of that ceremony in South River. Bob Menendez was there, and we were able to share a few great words together. So
he's a great advocate for us, and you know, we have a lot of battles. You heard from my colleague and mentor and friend Glenn Loop earlier about some of the challenges and issues that the industry is facing. You know, we're fighting it on multiple fronts. You mentioned the FDA. You know, we're still in the midst of a study on the health effects and usage of premium cigars with the National Academies of Sciences, and we're presenting our research, the economic and health data. We have a strong voice for the industry. We've been growing our capacity, our team. You know, we recently hired Ryan Parada, who you know well, has been to a couple different events, and he's strengthening our research and data capabilities, and we're building out a team because this is worth protecting. And it's easy to convey that message to elected officials when you have important stories like the Los Caidos story, like what you do for the fallen firefighters and fallen police officers. That's commendable, and I know that you do it because you genuinely care, plus you genuinely love cigars. So it's bringing those worlds together, and I think that's why you and I have developed such a good friendship, because we both not only enjoy cigars, but we enjoy the cause and the symbolism behind it.
So did anything surprise you, Josh, when you said to yourself, hey, I'm going to go all in, right? If I'm going to represent this group, I got to be part of the group, right? So you jump in, Luciano takes you, and Luciano and I had a great time together last year's PCA event. It's when we really hit it off and developed a bond together. So you jump in with Luciano, you go down there, you learn what's involved in truly making a cigar. Then you wanted more, and you jump both feet into being part owner of a retail shop. How has that impacted you, or has it impacted you the way you expected? Has it impacted you in any unforeseen ways? And do you feel it's made you a better representative of our industry?
I think definitely. Just the learning experience. You know, you can take the courses, and I highly recommend Tobacconist University, where you can learn the intricacies of it. But when you see it firsthand,
do you know where that was started?
In New Jersey.
Thank you.
Jorge Armenteros.
Jorge Armenteros, Little Taste of Cuba, on Witherspoon Street in Princeton, was talking with some Princeton University professors, and they said, listen, man, educate people on cigars, write a book. And he has been the leader for years, decades, on educating people in cigars. So shout out to Jorge, Little Taste of Cuba, Tobacconist University.
Well, and the thing is, that I think is the first step. That before I started getting involved in it, before going to Nicaragua, over the heart of the pandemic, when we were all working from home, that's something that I wanted to do and take the time and learn that process. And then going there and seeing it firsthand, that was extremely impactful. And I can, speak at a higher level, a higher understanding of, the challenges and opportunities that this industry faces. And, I've been fortunate to have great mentors like Luciano and friends that, are willing to take me under their wing and teach me. And there are certain things that, I previously worked for community banks, which is another great organization, but this is more of a career for me rather than a job. It's a passion. I don't feel like it's work, but it's a noble cause, and I think that we're having a positive impact. We're doing creative things and new things, and really getting to see it from the manufacturer retail side. In addition to my day job, it's a more well-rounded spokesperson for the premium cigar industry before the halls of Congress and before government officials.
Do you think you're better equipped to talk about it in front of the FDA than that lady was sitting behind us at the meeting?
No, honestly, I think that it's important to have a variety of voices. I mean, we try and engage with as many of our members as possible to get them in front of elected officials. I'm not going to belabor the point. I know Glenn talked about some of the taxes that we're facing. It's important to reach out, if you're a consumer, if you're a retailer, especially if you're an employee of a cigar shop, this is your livelihood, this is your job. Make sure you reach out on this. Congress needs to hear from you. We are moving the needle. We're pushing back, but every little bit of effort helps.
Cigaraction.org. Remember that. Yeah, so I'm not being stereotypical. There was a lady that had an issue. Josh and I were sitting in the second to last row at the FDA meeting. She was in the last row, and we started having a conversation, very quietly whispering to each other about what was being said, and she took issue with it, so I took issue with her, and she ended up moving her seat. That is where we're going to leave the story.
Yeah.
But I'm really happy for you that you got into it and that you're learning, and thank you for fighting on our behalf and my behalf. It's a very, very, very small boutique. I mean, I've been in the same cigar for 5 years.
Yeah.
Right? So, but you're still fighting for guys like me, and I thank you for that.
And it was great because, you know, your cigars are made by Aganorsa. I got to visit the factory there in Nicaragua and see the people that put together Las Caidos and all the factory workers, that this is their livelihood. You know, the cigar industry in Nicaragua, Honduras, and the Dominican Republic, they're the ones that are propelling the economic development to build roads, schools, hospitals, bridges. Without that industry in those countries, it's a significant loss and a significant risk that they have. The regulation here in the United States definitely affects the Caribbean basin and all of those countries.
Yeah, I think 100%. It's also going to affect us if we don't start acting. So what would I know that you have a lot of people here to see, being that you're part owner, they're here to see you as well. What, like I said to Glenn, or like I asked Glenn, what would you want your parting words to be to anybody listening to this show, whether it be cigar consumer, cigar retailer? What do people need to hear from you? What message do you want Josh to spread to them?
Really don't stop. You know, you have to be educated and informed on the issues. We're constantly sending out things, producing resources, but it's a feedback loop. If there's something that we're missing or that you don't like what we're doing, reach out to us. We want to change, we want to adapt, we want to be nimble. We have a small team with limited resources, but we want to cater to the interests of our members and best serve them. So if there's something that we're not doing as the PCA, constructive feedback is good feedback, and we'll work with you. You and I have had candid conversations, long hours of how we can improve and make things better.
And let me touch on that too. Josh and I are friends, right? I will gladly say that. Outside of the industry, if he was home visiting his family in Erie and he said, "Hey Z, I need a little bit of help, can you come pick me up and give me a ride?" I would be there for him. That being said, we have had long, difficult conversations where I have strongly criticized much going on with the industry, much going on within the PCA. We had those conversations in your offices in DC, and you listened with the kind ear, and it still has not changed our good friendship. We're here today. We're here today.
Yep.
So just if that's on the mind of any retailer or consumer out there saying, well, I'm concerned if I really speak my mind, I'm going to be shut off or blackballed somehow or something, like, you won't be. They're going to listen, and you're not always right. My wife will tell you, I scream and moan and I'm loud as hell and I'm rarely correct, right? But it just feels good that you have vented an opinion, you got your thoughts expressed, and I know you listened. You didn't just hear me, you weren't checking your phone for text, you sat there, smoked a cigar and listened, said, listen, I hear you, I'm listening to you, I just don't know if that's the right course of action to take right now.
Yep.
You know, we would have those back and forths, and I love them. So anybody out there who wants a similar experience, reach out to the PCA. So on that note, how is it best for people who want to express their feelings or opinions to you? How's it best for them to reach you?
Just send me an email at joshua@premiumcigars.org. We'll set up a meeting. If you're visiting DC, I'd love to have a coffee and a cigar with anyone out there, retailer, consumer, manufacturer, or someone on our team. And you know, we will implement changes. We're doing new stuff, the creative things. You know, I mentioned before the International Policy Summit. That's the first time we're having an International Policy Summit on premium cigars. You have 2 U.S. senators from different political parties. You have 3 different countries. Well, actually, you have the 3 major cigar producing countries and a dozen or so other countries that are involved in the cigar supply chain. And I think that's important. That's a kickoff. That's a start. We're going to do this in person. next year when hopefully things with the pandemic are solved. But it's important that we do new and creative ideas to capture people and get them believing that we're not only on the defensive, we're not always fighting against something. We're here to provide resources, information, build better businesses, whether you're a brick and mortar shop owner, small boutique manufacturer.
I think that's important for people to know, because I had the opinion for the longest time, we talked about this, how I always thought you were in defense mode. Fight, 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 when it's needed. But then you opened my eyes to the resources you provide.
Absolutely. And
that only comes through conversation or reaching out and asking.
We get the two things, trade show and advocacy. And yes, those are two critical components, but there are things like a product hub, best practices, retailer education. Glenn, Ryan, myself, were all fortunate to work for Scott Pierce and our new president, Greg Zimmerman.
Who, by the way, is a phenomenal retailer.
And they are coming up with new ideas, and I'm just fortunate enough to be a part of that team to work to implement it and get to have great conversations.
Now, why is Greg president? Because he's a Pennsylvania guy close to Erie? Is that you guys up there?
He's far from Erie, actually.
He's in Harrisburg.
4 hours.
That's what I wrote down here.
Yeah. And we're riding back to our event tomorrow.
That's right.
We really appreciate it. Again, like Los Caidos, the fallen police officers, I really gravitated and wanted this to be in Embassy Cigar Lounge because my father being a police officer, and then my uncle who actually traveled from Williamsburg, Virginia to be here tonight to get a box of cigars from you. He served 25 years in the Baltimore City Police Department. And those are my mentors. Those are the people that set me on the right path, although I try to veer off here and there. But they're really great people, and I'm proud of the service that they've done, the work they've done for their communities, and I try to emulate that in my life.
Well, you are. You absolutely are. So thank you, Josh, so much for coming on. Thanks for having me. I know that Ming only likes you for Taco Rock. He wants to go get some blue corn tortilla tacos. I know that.
They're pretty good.
But oh my God, I can't wait. But thank you so much for being down here. If you can, let your uncle know I want to talk to him right now.
Absolutely. We're gonna bring him on.
Yeah, go grab him real quick. Thanks, Josh. Good to see you, brother. Thanks again so much for having me, Josh. This is incredible. Yeah. Awesome. How you holding up, Ming? You doing all right? You got some food in you? You're good?
I'm really good. Thank you.
Christopher, don't they feed you in the Air Force? Holy mackerel. That's as big as a fighter. That pizza's as big as a fighter plane. Just eat the left wing and I'll have the rest, all right?
Where do I go?
How are you, sir?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Have a seat real quick.
Thank you. It was a real pleasure to meet you, Steve, and your cohort, Ming. And you guys are doing a great cause here. And obviously this place is rocking.
Yep.
And, for a lot of these unsung heroes, men and women who are doing the job day in and day out, and it's well appreciated for sure.
Well, I appreciate yours, sir. Like I tell everybody, I ain't got to put a vest on to go to work. So I win, right? Just getting out of bed, win.
Well, you certainly have a storybook career yourself, and I was invited to be here, and it is really a pleasure to be here and to commingle with so many people that really feel the cause. And in these tumultuous times, we need this now.
Oh, you always have it for me.
Yeah, we need this now more than ever.
You always got it for me. So tell us about yourself. Josh tells us you are the famed uncle from Williamsburg, Virginia. How long did it take you to get out here? How far is Williamsburg from here?
It's about 2 hours.
Thank you so much for coming out.
You're welcome. I'm actually staying the night, but at a young age I realized helping people and doing these kind of careers was for me. So at 17, I was the youngest prison guard in Erie County, Pennsylvania that they ever had. And you really learn how to talk to people.
Wow.
And
17. Are you a Steeler fan?
And then I went to...
Are you a Steeler fan? Pittsburgh Steelers. Are you a Steeler fan?
Where I'm from, you're either Buffalo, more Cleveland fans than Steeler fans.
Who do you root for?
I don't root for anybody.
Right,
I just want to see good. I just want to see good football.
Oh, get out! Hey, Glenn, I got somebody running against you for politics. He's from Erie, Pennsylvania, and I said, "What do you do?" He said, "Either Buffalo, Cleveland, or Pittsburgh." I just want to see good football. I don't root for anybody. I said, "Man, go work with Glenn."
Actually, I like the college game better than the pros. And then I went to Baltimore.
So 17 years old, you're doing corrections at such a young age.
I did
in
that
Erie.
for 3 years.
3 years, and then 20 you shipped down to Baltimore.
Yes, and I did 24 years to the day, and then I did some work with DOD, and but the men and women who do this career day in, day out bring a lot of happiness to the people around them. And
What did you do in Baltimore for 24 years?
I worked with the SWAT team for 10 years.
Police force?
Yes.
No kidding.
And then I was a commander in homicide for 3 years, and I ended up being the chief of staff for the police commissioner. And I had quite a storybook career. And I've been retired now 18 years.
Wow, how old are you?
Old.
Dang, you
Very
look
old.
great, man. I'm trying to do the math in my head. I was like, there's no way.
Oh, you're kind, man. You're
That's
kind.
awesome. It's so funny talking to guys like you on the show, because right away I'm like, all right, do they know my driver's license number? Do they know how many times I got a speeding ticket? Like, am I in trouble here when I leave out tonight?
Well, it took its toll. Wearing that vest and the gun belt.
Yeah.
I have 2 metal hips and a metal knee.
Wow.
And I was an athlete in high school for sports, and but I would do it all over again in a heartbeat. And thanks to these young men and women that are doing the job today, because we need all the help we can get, especially during these hard times.
Well, I'm trying to help in any little way that I can, but thank you so much for
And
coming.
you are doing a great job there, my man.
Well, thank you so much for coming out from Williamsburg, and thank you for your 24 years of service in Baltimore, and the 4 years at Erie, and everything else you've done.
Well,
oh my goodness gracious! I almost want to thank you for your 18 years of retirement. You're living large.
Well, I'm doing okay.
That's awesome. It is so good to see you.
And I've been very blessed. Pleasure's mine, really.
And don't be mad at me that, was it your mom who sat on my lap? Was it your mom? Who was it?
What's that?
Who was it that sat on my lap?
Oh.
When I was with,
Yes, it was my mom.
it was your mom, sat on my lap. And we were having a good time, and I gave her
84 years old,
and I wasn't letting her go.
And she's still kicking hard and running hard.
And you know what's funny? I didn't want to let her go. So we were having a great conversation. I'm hugging her, and I guess somebody took a picture and posted it on your family Facebook page, and it went viral.
Oh.
And then everybody started asking Josh questions. Who the hell is that man Grandma's sitting on? And it was me. So did I get in a lot of trouble at your family, like Thanksgiving tables or what?
No, they, you, like I said, you do good things, and I do want to give a shout out to my brother-in-law who was a sheriff, and I became a mentor to him, and
Where was he a sheriff?
in Erie County, and now he's the director of security at Gannon.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I come from a long
Shout
line of military and police, and it's been a great career and a great life.
Well, thank you so much for everything. Like I said, you're a braver man than I. Braver. I hide behind guys like you. I hide behind. It's like, no, he's in the police force. I'm gonna hide behind him.
I'm gonna hide behind you because you're about a head and a half bigger than me, there, my man.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
It's so good to
It was a
talk to you.
pleasure.
So nice to see you. Nice to meet you. I hope that this puts me in a little better light with the family this Thanksgiving. Now you're not sitting on my lap today. That's the thing.
No. Very
so
good.
good to see. I hope you stick around. I have one more guest to talk with, Firefighter from DC, actually, Jersey guy. So he's going to talk, and then we're going to be done. But I hope you stick around. I'd love to have a smoke with you.
Will definitely will. We'll smoke a cigar, and I encourage everyone to get some cigars, and I want an autographed signature on my cigar box there, my man.
I'm going to sign. I'm going to sign Josh Harbeski. I'm going to forge his name.
I give him a hard time all the time, but he deserves it.
Yes, he does. And I'll be the first to say it. Yes, he does.
But we're so proud of him. He's done a great job for the industry, and it's a simple pleasure for sure.
Yep.
But
a lot of hard work goes behind him.
That's for sure.
Yep. Well, enjoy the rest of your smoke.
Thank you,
Thanks
sir.
so much for
All
coming
right.
on. Great talking with you.
You're welcome.
Nice to see you again.
You're welcome.
See, Grandma, your son didn't sit on my lap, so we got it. And the last guest we're going to have on is my Jersey guy, Chris Chiffone, firefighter from Washington, D.C. On the job every day, protecting our ass. I met him at a cigar dinner. He wanted to support local firefighters. What's up, boy?
What's going on?
Good to see you, man. How's everything?
Not every day, every fourth day. That's the privilege. That's the privilege, you know?
Well, it was funny.
Giants with the Yankees in about 15, 30 minutes.
I know. So you know this is going to be shorter than 30 minutes because I got a Jersey guy, Yankee fan. He's not going to let me get along.
Wild guy, yeah, the Red Sox. God. Yeah, Monmouth County, New Jersey.
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
The finest county in New Jersey.
That is right. That is right. So how Chris and I met was very perchance. We both supported a local cigar dinner that's great every year, held by local FMBA 68 Long Branch.
My hometown, yeah, City of Long Branch.
Yep. City of Long Branch. And that's did you go to Shore?
Oh, no, Long Branch High School.
You went to Long Branch High School, okay.
Oh, yeah.
So
City
Chris,
of Long Branch.
I love it. So Chris is a Long Branch guy. So we go to the cigar dinner, and we hadn't met there, and we go to
the Celtic Cottage, a classic, a classic Irish bar.
So they said, hey, Z, we're all going over here. You coming? I said, yes. And I was talking to some volunteer guys, and I told them I was going to be down in Virginia. I said, dude, you got to meet Chris. Did you ever meet Chris from Long Branch? I said, no, I don't know Chris from Long Branch. Where's he at? So we met, and I said, yo, Chris, I'm going to be down there October 5th. He goes, let me check my calendar. I work every fourth day. So he was
tomorrow. Dude.
So he was like, yo, I'm off. I'll definitely be down there. So he drove in from D.C. tonight to be here to support the cause, support the cigars, and be on the podcast.
Thanks for having me. Thank you.
Please, it's
a privilege,
my pleasure.
Jersey
guy.
Yeah,
Jersey guy firefighter
Jersey
from DC, 40 minutes away.
All the time.
So tell everybody what it's like. What are you going through right now? Walk people through what a firefighter goes through on a regular daily basis on the days that you work. Because let me preface this.
Yeah.
I take charitable motorcycle rides all throughout the country. And when I was in Scottsdale, it was the first time I'd ever really, outside of hanging out with Butchie and the guys in Long Branch, it was the first time I'd really been in a full-time firefighter house where I didn't know anybody, and they were giving me the rules. And they said if they're sleeping, dead asleep at 3 a.m., they get that call, they have to be boots on, in the truck, everything within 90 seconds.
Yep.
I can't even find my bedroom door in 90 seconds.
Oh, yeah.
So talk to people about what's involved and what's entailed to being a firefighter, because I don't think a lot of people really understand it.
I mean, most people know, like, you're there to serve the public, you're there at any given moment to go into the throes of danger, or if anyone needs you for anything, honestly, like your dishwasher's leaking, the cat in the tree literally is a thing you do. People call the fire department for everything, right? It's the best public service you can get. It's the only place where you can call somebody, get a person on the phone, and get someone at your door in less than 5 minutes. You can't get that with any other public service, I gotta say. The fire department really does step up in that way. And you have someone there to solve your problem, whatever it may be, how little or how great. You know, your blood sugar's low, you have a medical emergency, or obviously...
They call you for that?
Yeah, the fire department does EMS. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, we first respond to EMS. A lot of departments across the country are EMS first responders. So we staff the ambulances, our fire trucks are first on scene with EMTs, a lot of paramedics on a lot of companies. So we're there first on scene, and the ambulance will then come for transport following up on that.
I don't even think I know that. So my mother living in Greenbrier, 74 years old, diabetic, has a problem, and she hits that 911, the fire truck goes
the
up
fire
first.
truck will roll up.
Holy.
Most times, and especially large municipalities, the counties, Montgomery County, Prince George's County, Fairfax, and Virginia. We are first response, and we're fire and EMS, mostly all departments.
Wow.
You still have your FD&Y in Boston where it's solely fire, but they still first respond with the firefighters there to mitigate the medical emergency, waiting for the ambulance and paramedics to show up.
Wow.
So it's literally everything, top to bottom. You got a water leak, your fire alarm's going off, to the house is on fire, of course.
Now let me ask you this: those calls come in. Are they coded any differently? So will you take less time to go on a call for a low insulin blood sugar call than you would like a 3-alarm fire? Or?
No, you still go get on the apparatus and you respond to the call.
Quick as you would any call. They're all treated the same at first.
It would be different as something small like that, like not feeling well, as opposed to a cardiac arrest or known fire. That's a bit of a higher degree of urgency. So they're all emergency response. You're driving pretty swiftly, lights and sirens, but obviously with the extreme emergencies, serious gunshots, cardiac, car accidents, and fire.
You go to gunshots too?
Yeah, everything. Any medical emergency, the fire department handles it.
That's crazy.
We're there on scene to take care of that problem.
So what is it like working in DC? Because did you ever work in Jersey?
No, I volunteered in Jersey. I went through Fire Academy in Jersey at Middlesex, actually. Yep, I did all my fire training through New Jersey, up in Middlesex, and volunteered for a little bit. And I got on the job right quick after down south in Charleston, South Carolina.
Oh, wow.
Oddly enough.
They have quite a few fires. I think the most historical fire down there was the furniture building, correct?
That is one of the biggest ones in firefighting. It's the largest loss of firefighter life outside of 9/11. Nine guys lost their lives in the Sofa Superstore fire.
Wow.
Yeah, 2007, I believe.
I remember reading about that.
That was a very tragic event for the fire service, for the brothers. That was and they have a combined service there, St. Andrews, City of Charleston, North Charleston, a big, huge mutual aid down there. So it's a very, I think 1861 that fire department came into service. But yeah.
The year 1861.
Yeah.
Wow.
So they're an old-time fire department. Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. Longer than most think. Obviously northeast the country, first to the plate. For services really in the country, but they've been around a while, Charleston.
Wow. So you worked for them for how long?
Just a year, 1 year. Waiting to get on here the whole time, actually.
Yeah. So you went down there for a year and then you got hooked up with DC?
Yep.
How long have you been with DC?
I just got on over here in, February. I just started in DC.
So what is it like for you to be at DC? Because DC is what, where is it in terms of largest? It's got to be
It's a large city fire department, so it's great to be a big city firefighter. It's a different aspect. Boston, New York, Philly, Chicago, LA, San Francisco, DC. I mean, being a big city firefighter, it's a real cool thing to do. There's great fire departments in other small municipalities do great stuff. Again, the county fire departments in Virginia and Maryland. Gary, Indiana is a real tough fire department, small town that gets a lot of work. And even in Pennsylvania, a lot of these small Rust Belt towns, so to speak, they do a lot of stuff with very few guys. Like staffing is a big issue, even in large departments.
Yeah.
And some places in Pennsylvania, they got 2 guys in a rig and they're waiting for other people to show up with, fire blowing out the windows.
Yeah, I've learned a lot from the guys in Indiana with the group called the Fools.
They're national, the Fools, Fraternal Order of Leatherhead Society.
Yeah, so I did a lot of work with them recently at the firefighter convention.
We got one in Jersey, the What Exit Fools.
Yes.
The What Exit Fools. Yeah, great group. Yeah, there's one down around here as well. They're all over the country.
Yeah.
It's a great group.
Very serious about their training, serious about firefighting. They seem to be really into it.
Firefighting is a very fraternal group. It's the brotherhood and sisterhood. It's huge. Just like when you see someone from Jersey, you're like, yeah, it's my guy. Like instantly connected.
People may not know this.
Oh yeah.
Like I've known you a total time in our lives. What, an hour and a half?
Hours. Yeah.
Right. 2 hours.
A few hours.
But the second I was like, hey man, I'm doing this. Would you like to come down? You were there. You didn't even ask a second question.
Oh, yeah.
Like I'm there, man.
Sound like a great time. I'm here in the neighborhood.
You can't make this up.
Why not?
Like, you can't make the goosebumps up. Like that was a really cool feeling.
I'm humbled. I appreciate it.
I was like, you're really gonna come down. Like you're a firefighter in DC. You're really gonna come down on the podcast. You're like, I'm there.
It was cool happen chance. It was awesome, especially a brother from Jersey. But the same thing for the fire service. Your brothers and your sisters in the job. I happened the other night. I was in Georgetown just having a dinner. It was a late night. I worked out during the day. It was my first off day. So, you sleep till real late because you're up all night. And I went to have dinner, and guy was with his fiance just chatting, and he just heard me talking to the bartender, a close friend. He's like, "Oh, you're a firefighter? Oh, me too, man. I'm a federal firefighter. This so-and-so out on the West Coast in California." Next thing you know, taking the poor guy from his fiance, chatting like 30 minutes about fire stuff. I mean, it's inevitable, honestly. It's one of the greatest things about the service. You know, you're just instantaneously connected to so many people just through your love of the job. I mean, and everyone will tell you it's cliche, right? The best job in the world. Every guy, every girl will tell you that. But it is. It honestly, public service. It's a great thing to be involved in public service and to be a firefighter. It's fulfilling, you know, and it's fun, you know. Like it's the thing when you're a kid, right? What do you want to be? I want to be a ball player. I want to be this. I want to be a firefighter.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things you get from early on that you actually get to see to fruition. Be a firefighter, the big red truck, you know, lights, the sirens, screaming. I mean, what can you do? It's something else.
So let's talk about that. You work 1 on, 4 off, and when you work the 1 on, it's 24
One
hours
on
straight?
24/72, yeah.
24/72.
For our department.
So 1 on,
Others
3
have
off.
different schedules.
Yep,
Ours
yep.
happens to be that one.
So on a 24 hours on, you are on duty all 24 hours straight, correct?
Yeah, it's 24 hours, no matter what.
And,
you know?
and do you get to sleep? Do you go to bed at night?
Yeah, you can lay down. There's times to lay down. You're not really too much sleep. You'd be lucky to catch 2-3 hours, but you know, the city never sleeps. You know, no metropolitan area is never not happening. So
Yeah.
there's always something gonna happen. You
So,
know, during the day, you know, 6 a.m., 4 a.m., middle of the night, you know, 5 in the there's a fire today in DC. What was that? 3 in the afternoon. A pretty decent fire. You know, like usually, you know, you think fire happens overnight, right? People are sleeping. Any time of the day.
So 3 o'clock in the afternoon, call comes in. What are the guys doing?
Your tone drops, and the box alarm tone it's different. It comes out with a different tone, and guys are just running to the rig. You jump on the rig, you get dressed, you throw the gear on. You know, in academy, it's 90 seconds, right? 60 for the gear, 30 seconds to get the pack on, and that's it. You're going. You're listening to dispatch. You're listening to the calls coming in, what the address is. You're really familiar with your area, so you know what kind of structures you're coming on or how long it's going to take to get there. Is it an apartment building, 2 up, 2 down? Is it a single family residence? So all that's going through your head, what's going on, and then any reports, you know, fire at the 2nd floor in the Delta Quadrant, or you just don't know, it's a fire, and you're waiting to roll up and see what you got. And the officer's going to go do his 360, the lineman's going to pull the line, run up to the door, you got your layout guy throwing out the hookup at the hydrant. I mean, it's a choreographed thing in such a fast manner, but everyone knows their job. You train for it extensively all the time. Every day on shift, you do training. So you're never not doing something to get better at your job. It's every day. From day 1, year 5 to 25-year veteran, you're always going to do something to get better at your job because it's always changing.
So you say it's choreographed. You said the line guy's going to do this guy's going to do this. How many guys normally work one shift? And describe or define some of the roles for people.
So it depends. Like staffing is an issue across the country, even in city departments. Obviously, the larger cities, it isn't too bad for us. We run 4 on the wagon. In New Jersey and Long Branch, they only have 2 on the engine and 2 on the truck. So that's a tough thing to do when you have a fire going on, when you need 2 in and 2 out in a fire building. Plus, you need guys running hose line. You need the ladder to start throwing ladders to the building and set up the aerial, forcing the door. So there's a lot to go on the fire grounds. Like honestly, you need a good amount of guys and girls on the job to get things done. And sometimes some of these other departments, they really don't have the personnel and manpower they should have, be it budget constraints and things like that get involved to, you know, being able to have that many people on duty. We're fortunate in the city, in the district, as like the other larger cities, Philly, New York, Chicago. Like we have 4 on an engine, we got 5 on a ladder truck, on a tiller. So we have a lot of people responding, like no problem. But other places, you know, they're doing a lot of work with very few people.
And then something else I've been listening to as far as conversations are concerned, talk to me about the difference between a full-time paid firefighter and a volunteer firefighter, and how much support and help do the volunteer firefighters give? Because obviously they're probably not under the same 90-second rule. They're not there, right? They have to leave what they're doing. Like, talk to people about that and actually teach me about that.
Volunteering is great, right? A lot of guys get their start in the volunteer fire department, you know? There's not too many paid places outside of large cities, right? Large cities, and then some smaller cities have part-time guys, or a city like Long Branch, they have a few guys, you know, but a 25-guy department as opposed to 2,000 plus in the District of Columbia, things like that. 10,000 in FDNY.
Wow.
So it's a great place to get your foot in the door as a kid if you're interested. Because volunteering, you want to volunteer. You want to provide your services. They don't pay anything, but they put you through training. You get to know the lay of the land. And again, it's one of those things. It's more of a yesteryear thing now, I feel like, as opposed to how society is, like to volunteer and give back to your community. So there are less volunteers than there used to be, especially with EMS. Used to be always volunteer. Now, a lot of EMS is paid for, be it private or city run. Same thing with the fire department. It's hard to get volunteers these days because people are busy. It's a busy world, right? You got 2 breadwinners, you got to drive an hour to work, this and that. But volunteers are great because you get to have that training early on in life if you want to get into a paid career, or it's just people who really care about the community and they got the time, they got the job, and they're ready to respond. They're home 5 o'clock, they're at dinner at 7, or they're just at home sleeping at 10 o'clock and the call comes in. Someone's got to do it. People deserve fire protection, and there's a lot of great people out there that volunteer their time and provide fire protection. They respond from home in a personal vehicle. Someone will go either respond to the station, or someone will bring the apparatus from the station to the scene, and guys arrive on scene in their personal vehicles. So the volunteer fire service is really something, it's a special thing that people will volunteer their time to do something that's pretty dangerous, and something they don't get paid for, essentially. So it's a full part of the fire culture. Be it paid or not.
And do you find that, and not you, I shouldn't put you on a spot like that, but in your experience or from what you've observed, it sounds like the volunteer fire department could offer that supplemental service to the guys with only 4.
Well, yeah, it works out well. Like, again, there's Maryland is a great county fire-driven fire service, Montgomery County, Prince George's County, Howard County, but they have volunteer stations throughout the county with paid fire service. So it's a great supplement to the paid fire service, especially back in Long Branch where I'm from. Other small towns, it's good to have. They have some real, some crack crews that'll come out and having some extra hands, like someone to run the pump on the engine, and that gets another guy inside while someone's running the engine. So you don't have a paid guy running the pump panel. You get him working on the fire ground, and someone could come up and take that over. Or you get some extra people to hump some hose or throw a ladder. It's all, anything to supplement work on a fire ground is helpful.
Now, it sounds like it's very important to you. The aspect of public service is very, very important to you.
It's a great thing.
What's one of your most memorable moments where you saw the fruition of that public service, that dream of becoming a firefighter come to fruition, not only in uniform, but actually putting a fire out or helping save somebody? Have any moments stayed with you?
Yeah, it's one of those things, right? The volunteer fire service has fundraisers, right? And usually, they'll have a fireman's fair. They'll sell Christmas trees, flowers for Mother's Day. My uncle is a firefighter, lifelong firefighter, still in the job in Asbury Park, actually. And I remember when I was young, he's younger than my mother by a little bit, and just seeing, my uncle, volunteering for the town, the small town my mom's from, my grandparents are from, and it's the coolest thing ever, right? Hanging out at the firehouse, again, as a kid, the fire truck's cool. Climb on the fire trucks, the fireman's fair, you ride around as a kid around town on it, it's awesome. And I remember my uncle just, in uniform doing it, going to the calls, and it always resonated with me. It was like a home base. You go there, you get a 25-cent cola from the vending machine. It was just a cool thing. And then, I did my thing growing up through life, but I always remember my uncle being a firefighter. I thought that was the coolest thing. I wanted to do it. And the culture's big up there in New Jersey, too. So a lot of friends and friends' parents were in the fire service. My mother's a nurse. She's been a nurse her whole life. My grandfather served. It's just something you see around you in the community, and inevitably you have it for yourself, right? Eventually someone gets in a car accident, or you see something next door to you, and it's great to be a part of that, right? Because no matter what, you're always going to be in a spot at one point or another where you need a helping hand. You're in a tough spot, and you need someone to help you.
Now, have you been in a position to save somebody? Whether it be putting a fire out in the house, where if you didn't put it out, they were in a real bad situation.
It's always a bad situation when there's fire, right? So it's the best part of the job. If you're on the line, you get in there and put the fire out. That's one of the best things of the job, right? That's what you all try to get. You try to get first due, first in, get in there through the smoke, put the fire out. Everyone tries to be first due. That's the best part, getting there and putting the fire out.
And have you experienced that?
I've been fortunate enough to have a first due fire and put the fire out. I mean, it's just, it's great. And you get more and more as your career goes on. I got very, very little time, very few things going on, but I've been fortunate enough to have a couple things roll my way and, have a good time doing it.
That's awesome. How do it make you feel?
Oh, it's great. It's fun because you're doing your job. Like you do your job. Adrenaline's pumping. You're dialed in. Like you train for it nonstop. And you get out of training, and then you do the daily trainings. You go to a couple calls. A couple alarms. But when it's game day and that the box alarm comes out and it's confirmed structure fire, you go. You're ready to go, and you pop the clip. You jump out. You grab the hose line, go in. You flake it out and get in there. Guys will pop the door. You got your officer, the truck company, popping the door, looking for the fire, and you put it out. There's nothing like it.
I remember being up in Long Branch with Butchie and those guys, and they get a call, and Tim Phillips looks at me and goes, "Get in." I go, "Get in where?" He goes, "Get in the truck." So it was that SUV that the chief drives.
Yeah.
So I get inside with them, and it was the craziest experience.
Oh, yeah.
We're blowing through everything, every red light. And I'm like, "Dude, it's a red light." He's like, "We don't stop for those." They get up to the house, and it's two drunk kids from Monmouth that lit a fire pit. But they were putting like fence posts in. So it got too big,
out of control.
and embers started going over the neighbors, and they called. So the guys go down there, they put it out with the little extinguisher, tell the kids, sober up, get inside, this is over for you tonight, whatever. They get back in the truck, we go back in the firehouse, we turn on Monday Night Football. It was Thursday Night Football, it was a football game.
Yeah, it's a real...
and they acted like nothing happened.
It's like that.
And I was like, time out. Did we just talk about what happened? Like, even though you guys went out and it seemed nothing to you, you didn't know what you were going into. There was no guarantee you were coming back okay. And they acted like it was nothing. And I was like, maybe I'm too soft, but guys, we have to digest for me. Like, what just happened?
It's no big deal, right? Because it's fun. Right? If you get in a fire truck the first time, you start blowing around, like running up to a light, you got to stop real quick, look, and you got to go through it, It's a lot, right? A lot going on for the layperson, but it's go time, it's business. But then you get back and you're in the middle of dinner. You get right back to dinner and talk about what's going on.
That was crazy.
It's the next one, the next one, the next one, and it is what it is. It's part of the job. It's part of the fun of the job. It's always happening. And you get back right to what you're doing. In the middle of training a lot, you'll be training and doing something, and a call comes out, big call, and you gotta disconnect a couple lines, toss it to the side, and go to the job and take care of it.
Now that because it's a light fire, because there is a fun aspect, you're doing a job, it's what you dreamed of as a kid, but there's also a side to it that the nonprofit I serve is addressing that not a lot of people talk about, and that's the ugly side of the job, the things you see. So a lot of people talk about, we're here at Embassy Cigar Lounge, and obviously PTSD is big amongst the military.
Yeah.
But it's also prevalent amongst
very much so, and it's mental health is becoming more of an issue. Always in society, it's becoming more and more come around than it used to be. But then, military first, obviously they go through a lot on the daily, a very intense scenarios, especially in any wartime scenario. But fire, police, EMS, even hospital staff and the nurses, you see a lot. You see a lot what the lay person doesn't really see in life, and it's just, you kind of know what you're getting into. Most people just, they're able to deal with and handle those things. They have an idea like what you might see, and then you see it, and it's either the first time it's shocking or you're comfortable with it, and it just gets, you have to function, right? You have the job to do. Someone else might be tough for them, but we can't pine on that. We have to help that person. Be it a bad injury, you have to take care of it, check their vitals, bandage them up, or it's a very serious fire situation. Other people are standing and looking at it, it's looking wild, but you gotta take care of business. And that's the end of the day. You're taking care of business. It's a job, right? Those are our customers. You need to get in there and do what the public needs you to do. And that's the long and the short of it. And you want to be able to talk about it. And that's why the brotherhood, the sisterhood, the community is there for. You get right back to what you're doing at the table, and you talk about it, you joke about it. Dark humor, at times, but it's how you talk and get through things. It's all part of the job. You know what you signed up for, and you either you do all full out, or you get used to some more things, because at the end of the day, it's your job. You have to do that. You have to respond to what is needed. People called you. No one else is coming. They called you to handle the problem. No one else is going to come handle that problem. You are it. So,
you still love it?
Yeah.
That's
awesome. I'm lucky. I'm lucky, and I'm super fortunate. Not only it's a very competitive job to get, especially these days. Very tough, long process, minimum a year, if not 3-4 years for a lot of people. I mean, it just, you couldn't be happier to be able to get the opportunity and then get on the job and to do it. Like, to say this is your career, it's, you know, it's something special.
Yeah, that's awesome. For the people listening and watching, right, they're going to be cigar smokers, cigar retailers, so maybe not, just consider them civilians right now at this point, not any demographic. What would you say to people out there about anything related to firefighter? Whether it's, hey, when you see a truck, move over. Like, for instance, Greg Garza lost his life in San Antonio, Fire Station 1, because he came down off a truck and was killed by a Culligan waterman driving by too fast.
Yeah.
Instead of paying attention to the rules and the laws to say, hey, move over, slow down, stop, whatever.
That's a big problem.
What would you say to people about that?
I mean, that's just be cognizant. You know, everyone's driving, got their own things to do, places to go. You get your music up, the cars, they're well insulated now, but you know, just be cognizant checking your mirrors, because you might not hear the siren, but you see the flashing lights, and you know, just move over. You know, a lot of states have move over laws now. Yeah, I mean, we have a place to go. Like, you might be going to the groceries, you might be going to school. Someone else is in dire need of help. So the better you can help us mitigate that and get there as fast as possible, that's a huge, huge help. And also move over laws in many states now. Fire, police, road workers, too many are getting killed on the side of the road from emergencies, people not paying attention. So when you see flashing lights on the side of the road, moving over and giving them that space to work, that's a huge thing. Way too many emergency personnel are getting hit on highways and even just smaller roadways by people not paying attention and crashing into vehicles and apparatus, and then in turn crashing into responders who are helping people already, and then more people are getting, unfortunately, injured or killed, a lot killed from those instances. So just being aware of emergency services and keeping your space, moving away, and letting the incident come to its fulfillment as quick as possible by professionals.
Well, Chris, thank you so much for coming down. Folks, you heard it there. If you
pleasure.
see a fire truck in your rear view, please pull over. My Jersey guy came down from D.C. You stay safe on the job. And thank you for what you're doing. The Yanks are going to win. The Yanks are going to win, he says.
Yeah, of course.
Let's go watch the game.
No problem.
Everybody, thank you so much for watching. Thanks so much for letting me in here, Embassy Cigar Lounge, to do the show.
Cheers.
Hope you all enjoyed it. And let's go smoke a cigar and enjoy life a little more.
Yeah, on
Thanks
brand.
for coming down.
Caidos.
That's right. I'm red because you came on.
There we go.
Thank you so much, Chris.
Thanks a
I
lot.
really appreciate it. Thank you.
Steve. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Ming Chen. I appreciate everything you did tonight to make the show successful. Thank you. Good night, everybody.